Last year, I made a video about the Galaxy A13. I compared it to the A12. But after I posted that video, I realized that there are two versions of the A13. A regular 4G one, which is the one they sold in Nigeria, and a 5G one, which I think they sold in India and in the US. So now the question is, with the Galaxy A14, is Samsung going to do this again? Will they make two versions of the A14? Well, I think they would, because a couple weeks ago, they announced the Galaxy A14 5G in India. So if you're in Nigeria, you still have to wait till like maybe March, and we're not really sure if you're going to get this version or a different one. Now I must say, I hate it when smartphone companies make two different phones for different regions. It sucks. Samsung used to do it with their flagships, the whole Snapdragon Exynos thing, that didn't end well. Xiaomi as well did it with the Note 11 series, also didn't end well. So I wonder why Samsung is doing this. But anyway, I would be looking out for when we get these phones in Nigeria to see if we get this version or a different one, and possibly look at the differences. But for those in the US and India, this is the phone. If you've seen the Galaxy S23s, then you definitely know where this came from. Like, there was this whole talk of Samsung trying to unify their phone's designs. I thought that was just for the S series, but apparently it's for the entire lineup. So all the phones look the same, and that's actually a good thing for the A14. I really like the design. It looks kind of similar to the A13, but it definitely isn't. It has a more boxy feel and look to it. Again, just like the S23s. But you are reminded instantly that this is a budget phone when you flip it over. It still has that teardrop notch and really humongous bezels all around the screen. But at least the display has been improved. So the A13 5G had a 720p 90Hz LCD display, but this has a 1080p 90Hz LCD display. So a bump up in resolution, which is always appreciated. The display is also slightly bigger at 6.6 inches. Another area where they did improve were in the cameras, or should I say, one of the cameras. The rear camera setup is still the same. A 50 megapixel main, a 2 megapixel macro, and a 2 megapixel depth sensor. But the selfie camera has now been improved from 5 megapixels to 13 megapixels. So you should be able to get more detailed selfies, I believe. For video, both the rear and selfie shoot max at 1080p 30 frames per second. On the processor side, things get weird again. So there are two versions of the A14 5G. We have one with the Exynos 1330 and another with the Dimensity 700. Well, benchmarks actually show that the Exynos is ahead, and it's not even close. But benchmarks don't always tell the whole story, and Exynos as well has a pretty bad reputation when it comes to real-world performance. But then again, I can't really say because I haven't used them, but I just thought that's something you should bear in mind. The A14 5G comes with 4GB of RAM and 64GB of storage, and goes up to 8GB of RAM and 128GB of storage. For software, it's running on Android 13, and you should get at least 1 year of major Android updates, so Android 14 guaranteed. And also, it's running on One UI Core 5, so the core version. And lastly, it has a 5000 mAh battery and supports up to 15 watts fast charging. So that's really everything you need to know about the Galaxy A14 5G. New design, love it. Two different variants, one with the Exynos 1330 and another with the Dimensity 700, so bear that in mind. A new selfie camera, now 13 megapixels, and a higher resolution display at 1080p. It starts at $200, but if you look properly, you're definitely going to get it for less. And for those in Nigeria, we have to wait till March, sadly. But until then, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you when you see me. Chicken.